YouTube. Hope everybody had a good turkey or ham day, however you celebrated it. You guys are all probably getting ready to deck your halls with boughs of holly and troll your ancient Yuletide carol. Hence, I don my gay apparel. Believe last time I told you guys that I would regale you in a tale from one of my past experiences so far. So I'm not going to sing you any Christmas songs, but I will give you a little bit of story time. So a little setup for the story. I had somebody in my office and they had some clients that wanted to go see a property out in Newport, Washington. He was only licensed in Idaho, and he asked me if I would take them out, and I said sure. So I called the listing agent to set up the showing, and she informed me that the neighboring property, the gentleman that was living there, was kind of a pain. I asked, "What do you mean?" Apparently, here is the property I was showing. Here is a road with an easement on it. And here is this gentleman's property. So everybody that was going to go show this property was immediately met by this gentleman who was not very friendly. He was telling everybody to get off his property, that this was his road, and it was a hassle, apparently. And he even threatened to shoot somebody's dog at one point. So the listing agent and her sellers were actually in the process of trying to take this gentleman to court for harassment and just generally making it very hard to sell their property. So I told this lady that I would call my clients and see what they wanted to do. And I proceeded to call my clients and let them know everything. And they said, "That's fine." Said, "We'll bring our dogs and we'll bring our guns." And I said, "Okay, I guess I'll bring mine too." The gun, not the dog. So I call this story the shootout. Don't worry, nobody gets shot. So Sunday morning at 8 a.m., I meet these clients out in Newport on the main road. The property was about a quarter of the mile up another road, which was this easement road. We drive up together all the way to the top, park on the road, look to the left. There's a gate that we have to go through, and then another quarter of the mile up some windy dirt road, there is a dry cabin in the middle of 5 acres. And then off to the right is this gentleman's property. So we get there, we get out of the car, no sign of the gentleman so far. And then I go to try and open the gate, which is supposed to be unlocked. And there is a padlock on it. And the only way to get up to this property is by opening the gate. The gentleman next door had put a padlock on the gate so that nobody could drive up to go see the property. So me and the husband of this couple decided that we were going to walk up the road and go check out the cabin while the wife stayed in the car with the dogs. So we proceed to hike up this dirt road. and get to the cabin. I unlocked it. We looked around. It's going fine. We get a call from the wife, who is sitting at the bottom. And she is telling me that I should come back down immediately. And I said, okay. And so we start heading back down. As we're heading back down, we hear yelling. I look up. There is a guy on an ATV above us, just staring, and then heads back down to where our cars are. So I get down to the bottom, and I see this. This gentleman had parked his car, his truck, on one side of my Jeep, and a bulldozer on the other side of my Jeep, and sandwiched me in so I couldn't move. The wife is yelling at this gentleman a lot, and he is also yelling at her a lot. And I see her gun on the dashboard. Luckily, it stayed in the car. So I walk over and start trying to talk to this gentleman nicely. He was not having any of it and proceeded to yell and scream and say we needed to get off his property, to which I explained, we're not on your property. We're on this property that is for sale. And he said, well, then you need to get off of my road. And I said, it's not your road. It is a road with an easement to get to your property and this property. He did not care and started to yell at me and tell me that I was a stupid real estate agent and I needed to do my research, to which I got upset. So then I started yelling at this gentleman, informing him that this was an easement road and all this, and he still wanted nothing to do with it. Unbeknownst to me, the wife had called the cops, and apparently they were on their way. Well, Newport, they only have 2 cops. And we waited for about 30 minutes while this guy was still sandwiched my Jeep in. And right before the cops got there, he decided to move his vehicles. Luckily, I had taken that photo, and she had taken some videos. So when the cops showed up, we had some evidence. Apparently, they had been called before for a similar situation. So the cops went and talked to him, and then the cops came and talked to us. And basically, the moral of the story is they didn't want the property. And I never talked to those clients again because I think they didn't like the way that I handled things by yelling and basically losing my cool. But to be fair, it was 8 a.m. in the morning on Sunday, and that's not particularly what I wanted to deal with. So, that's just one of the many fun stories that I have dealt with so far as a real estate agent. Well, I hope everybody has happy holidays, whatever you plan on doing. Keep an eye out for the next video and poke the subscribe button.